Task type, give new account as your add access and submit it. So the job is over. Now let me grab the log right. And go back to you. Request ID right, so request. Refresh it OK. Go to the task right. So both the task right are completed. So this is the user right. It is for you 03961 right, if I go here. Again. Refresh it. Reload the entry. And now go to your user. Expand it. What is the username here? It was Dale. This is the user. If just click on the user right. And you can see this user is a part of your CN, equal to floor HR right. So this is a member of attribute, you can see, so this is a member of, now, this attribute. Same information you can view. If you click on this, CN equal to floor HR. This group right if I expand it and click on here. Floor HR. Right, you see there are two account, a part of this. Group 1 is CN equal to Dale. And another is CN equal to test1 23. So this is how you gonna assign an access to the user. So one thing, if you see in the task history, right if you go to task. You see so when we are raising any request, right. So that thing it is getting out or we do not have any workflow, right. So ideally, the workflow right, which at least it should go to your manager, right? So to do that right. How you can achieve that? So when I submit a request, right, it should go to first approval of my manager. So ideally in your real-time project, what is to happen? Right if I have an application. Let's say, if this is my application name is Active Directory right. And this Active Directory application. I want to provision right. To a user. Let's say the username is ABC, right. So the ABC user. Also, when he is there in your access now, he should have the manager assigned right. Everybody. Every person has a manager. So let's say, Active Directory application has 2 entitlement, 1 is your, which is a floor manager, right. And other one is your like HR person, HR manager. So to get access to the floor manager, I should mention right if you are requesting any of the entitlement. In your Active Directory. First, it should be approved by this manager. So in the real-time application when we working for a project, each and every request to get up for my first manager first. If manager approved, then only the request should be netted or a task should be generated. Otherwise, if manager rejected that request or he didn't approve. Just shouldn't be getting access. So to configure that, how you going to configure? Let's see how we can configure a workflow. So basically we'll configure this workflow for our directory application. So remember, you can create up a workflow globally for all the application. Whatever application we saw here, right? If I go to my security system, you see all this approval workflow right for all the application. We can configure to work globally, but globally thing. It is not accepted actually. So in the real time it should be a right for application which we should configure. So I should configure workflow for this application only right. That is activated to demo. So to do that, again you have to click the admin right. Expand it. And you see there is a workflow here. In the workflow list right. There is workflow listed there. Right. And in the action, create a new workflow. So once I click here, you see a lot of pre-available workflow you have. Basically, these all are requests. I can see if, whatever you need, you have to just drag and drop and make a workflow. So, first thing, first right. You have to give the workflow name. So what is the workflow name? I'll give Active Directory Manager and after giving the name just drop the start button here. So by default first the start should come right. After that, so our request should go to your manager, right? So I'll give it. Drag a manager workflow here right. Once you drag it, so just make a connection here to right. So once you give the manager workflow here, right. So three possibility that might come right. One is C managers can be approved the request right. Second one, manager can reject the request. And third one, he can escalate to somebody. So if the approved, if manager is approving, what should happen? It should grant the access to drag the grant access button right. And add it to here. If manager reject the request, what should happen? It should reject the request. So just drag the reject request to here. So here what name I should give? I'll give some name like, and here I'll give the right reject. And for the manager, I'll give a name here. Manager, approval. Approval. So this is a sample workflow, write what I'm giving here. So all thing. We should have a end button, which your approval workflow is ended. This are just it. Okay. And scroll down little. And your workflow is ending here. So attach this one to your end. And this. Because it is ending here.